What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another F124 My Team Career Mode episode. Today, the Dutch Grand Prix around Zandvoort. Now here on the screen you can just see some of the upgrades I've been putting on, mainly focusing on the engine department, the powertrain, and also, as Zandvoort is such a twisty, turny track, we're removing our engine components and putting on the oldest ones that we have. Now if you're not subscribed, please do so. Keeps you up to date with all of the videos, but straight into qualifying. As you can tell, I've been switching up my editing style ever so slightly. I say slightly, it's quite a lot, but here we go. First lap in Q1. Pretty easy, braking just before the 50-meter board, get it turned in, use the banking a little bit to your advantage there. Feel free to use the curb, it's not that violent, that one. And then this corner in particular, I did lock up occasionally throughout the weekend there, but overall a pretty good start to our qualifying lap so far, draining the battery a little bit as we go winding towards the fast right-hander that is pretty much flat out in qualifying. And even here you can lift a little bit, you can see my front left tyre on the MFD in the bottom right corner of your screen is getting very hot going through some of those fast high speed corners, and straighten the car up for the DRS for the, well, I guess the first time in the lap, but there's, well, you know, there's two DRS zones, that's one of them, and now we've got the last sector just to go. Overall a pretty tidy lap. We do get all over that curve though, and all over this curve too, which really does hamper our sector 3. P19. And where do we end up when we cross the line here? P3. Just goes to show how good our pace was in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Obviously we're through to Q2. There's the proof, Q2. Right there on your screen. Now again, just starting our lap here. We do have an Aston Martin ahead of us, although I really don't think we'll be bothering their rear end at all in this qualifying session. We go a little bit deep into Tarzan, the first corner. I think it's Tarzan. Really needs to learn all the track corner names. Again, you can hear the tyre squeal ever so slightly as we go to turn into that very banked hairpin. But all in all, pretty good so far. Watch the front left tyre on the MFD in the bottom right here. You can just see the heat climbing and climbing and going red as we are massively overheating that tyre. And we've done everything we can to stop this. It just happens. There's no way around it. It's just a fact of life. Those tyres will be hotter than the surface of the sun whenever you go around those corners at full pace. And heavy braking down towards the start of Sector 3. Again, I feel like we've maybe caught the Aston Martin ever so slightly on this lap. I'm going to assume it's Lance Stroll shots fired. But with that in mind, we are coming up 2 green sectors. Obviously we've not done a lap yet in Q2, but nice and simple across the line at P5 again. It's a very good showing, and it must have been Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin ahead of us. No, it wasn't. It was Fernando Alonso. I take all of my words back, but Q3, here we come. Look at this. We're absolutely flying around this track. The setup working beautifully. Very high downforce setup. I did try and get rid of the bouncing that happened on the last corner, the very banked corner at the end there, but it just, like the tyre warm-up and the tyres overheating on those fast right-handers, it's a fact of life. Here we go. Q3 for the very, but isn't it the first time? Nah, it can't be. Is it? I have no idea. Let me know in the comments if you know if it's the first Q3 or not. We do get a little bit of dirt. We do get a little bit of dirt on the front left as we went through that fast right-hander, I should say. But it didn't seem to bother the car too much. Probably we have enough downforce to keep the car going where we want it to without having to rely too heavily on the cleanliness of our tyres. Again, a pretty good lap overall. We do go a little bit deep in a couple of places and very wide there, almost hitting the wall. That will cost us dearly. And again, a little bit deep. Just can't really get a lap together, it seems, in this moment. But where will it end up? No danger of going out. It's Q3. Where do we end up? It's P10. So 10th on the grid. Happy with that. Absolutely no complaints at all. And obviously we're going to go straight into the race strategy. And today I was thinking, in Belgium, the medium soft strategy worked so well. And it's again, it's the same kind of race. It's a soft medium, generally speaking, for the AI. But the alternate strat, originally it's soft hard. I don't know anybody in their right mind that would do that. So we're going to just change this one to the medium soft. And I'm thinking, can we repeat what we did in Belgium? Can we get a little bit further up the grid? We're in P10, so we're in a decent spot on the grid as well. It's not like we're further down the grid, but we're going to go for it. Medium soft is our strategy for this track. And here we go, straight onto the race. The lights are lighting up, as lights do. They're all on. Now they're out as we go racing here in Zandvoort. We've got Signs also on the medium, just ahead of us there in P9. We've dropped a place to Lance Stroll and to Pierre Gasly. We're going to send it down the inside. Signs had the awareness of a very aware thing, which was good for us as he turns out of the corner and essentially just helps us avoid getting wing damage. And now we're going to go side by side with the Spaniard around that corner, but he's just got the grip and the run and the traction around the outside on the racing line to just stay ahead there. So we're just going to try and tuck in essentially behind the Ferrari. We've got cold tyres still on the fronts, which, as you all know, tyre warm-up is not an issue for the AI. They just have perfect temperature tyres all the time. But we've got soft runners behind us in the form of Lance Stroll and Pierre Gasly, which we're not going to let through without a fight. Now again, DRS in this game comes on after lap 1, which obviously we've skipped ahead to lap 4 now. But we've got DRS on Carlos Sainz. He's got a much faster car, especially than those behind us, and we're just going to use him as a bit of a defense. But here we're going to go actually all the way up to the pit wall. Down the inside we set a purple sector 3 as well, thanks to DRS and the battery, and it's actually a pretty clean pass on the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. But now we've dropped outside of the DRS of those in front, so we really need to try and burn all of our battery here as we sort of wind through this circuit, just to try and get onto the back of the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. As Mark says, 1.8 seconds away. I don't think we've got the pace to get there just yet. We're only on lap 5 now. We have not been able to catch them up. Maybe, just maybe, we can leave Signs to catch those in front, and we'll make the most out of it. So we're trying to let him go here, which we do so. We're just going to see if he can catch up. Again, the soft tyres, I think they were looking to pit around lap 10, 11, 12, something like that. And yeah, moving on to lap 8, you can see the mediums must now be faster. Either that or somebody up ahead has damage, as now we're looking around the outside of Signs as we start the final sector. I'm sure that the McLaren up ahead must have some sort of damage here. Either that or they've been battling like there's no tomorrow, because everybody is here. This train goes from, what is that, P4 down to P12, 13 maybe, something like that. It's a huge train. And there's a couple of little packs that are broken off, first, second and third up ahead, as we're now actually going to look around the outside again. Carlos Sainz, nothing doing there. He's just still got a bit of performance. But now, are we going to go for it? No, we turn off the battery just to save our front wing, essentially. We don't really want to risk it. Trying to take a place from a medium runner, especially a Ferrari, and lose connection with those up ahead in the train like Hamilton, Perez, Piastri. It must be Piastri with some damage, as now there's a Mercedes and I think an Aston Martin that have got through on Piastri, and they're dropping him essentially. But here we go, lap 9. Again, Piastri fighting the good fight against Sergio Perez there, potentially helping out Norris in the drivers and a little bit himself in the constructors. Similar to real life, to be honest with you, but not around Zandvoort. Again, we're going to try this. Bit of battery. Bit of DRS. Sainz is going defensive. We're on board with Hamilton's rear wing. So now we're going to try and go round the outside as Sainz is kind of blocked in behind the Mercedes. We do have the pace. We've got the traction. We've got the racing line. And we have P9 in our pocket. Do we dare go up the inside? No, we don't. We like our front wing. We don't want to sacrifice it in the name of an overtake. And moving on a little bit again, we've got Piastri now fighting Hamilton. It's lap 11. I believe no one's pit just yet, but pit stops should be happening any time now. Maybe even this lap we might see those ahead of us boxing. And you can see as we almost spin the car under traction there, we're just starting to lose a little bit of grip on these mediums, but clearly not as much as the soft tyres, as they are, well, easy to stay with. We've not been burning too much battery just to stay with them. And look, we're practically pushing the McLaren around that hairpin to start the last sector of the lap. And look at the pace advantage we must have right now over the soft tyre runners. And just here, we're going to go up the inside of Piastri. It looks like he might be trying to pit as he does slam on the brakes like a fighter jet with a parachute. And we go horrendously deep. Obviously misjudging our braking point. It's now Sainz is trying to have a look down the inside here. We leave him the space, but he thankfully backs out in the end just to preserve his front wing again. And now I believe Hamilton and the likes in front on soft tyres will be pitting this lap as Piastri boxed on the previous lap. And then it will be a straight fight between ourselves and Carlos Sainz for some good points paying positions. As you can see, Hamilton going into the pits. We're trying to grab all the slipstream we can to defend from Sainz behind. We're meant to pit this lap. I'm thinking about extending ever so slightly as we go a little bit deep actually. And Sainz does catch up to us, but not threatening just yet. Teammates in the pits, let's see what Logan Sargent can do from there. And there's a yellow flag out. Yuki Tsunoda is out of the Zandvoort Grand Prix, the Dutch Grand Prix. He's retired sort of in the final sector there as we almost spin the car horrendously there, get dirt all over our tyres. We are thinking about boxing this lap. Verstappen is very close behind us. He has already pit. And we're just going to see if we can go through this exit here. And we spin the car straight around. And now we've got to wait for the other cars to pass before we can move. That is a horrendous mistake to make. But we just looped the car on it by ourselves. We have been pushing the tyres. It's lap 14, so we should have stopped a couple of laps ago. Tyres are pretty worn. We just tried to get a bit of the traction going. We had dirt on our tyres, and the safety car came out because we were stopped on track, and also Yuki Tsunoda, who is just on the right somewhere here, there he is, was also stopped on track. It's kind of helpful but also not, because we lost positions to Verstappen and Norris and Leclerc, who all got past us when we were facing the wrong way, but we get a safety car and brand new soft tyres. Interestingly enough, you might have seen it in the top left if you were watching the drivers fly past us in the pit lane. Carlos Sainz is on hard tyres, which is very interesting for us. But we've got 10 laps to go. We're on the softs. The AI made the softs go 11, 12 laps. We only have to go 9 at this point. And we're on lower fuel, and we potentially have higher downforce than those around, which will help and protect the tyres in some way, but it's still not a nice push as much as you like stint. The safety car is going to return to the pit lane, and we are in P17. This is a mountain to climb. That spin that brought out the safety car has cost us so much time. It's unbelievable. We still have cold tyres. We can't warm these tyres up. We just don't have the facilities for that big man. I thought I'd be try to be young and hip. I don't know if that's right. But there we go. We get racing again. Pretty good restart for us. We didn't really lose time to the AI. And we're just going to send it down the inside of Magnus, and why not? They're so slow, all braking a little bit early to try not to run into the back of each other. We've got fresh tyres. Let's use them. So we're going to try and carve our way through this train as much as we can in the next couple of laps. We're behind Valtteri Bottas. Again, the Sauber is one of the slower cars on the grid. We're just trying to find a good place to get past. It's a hard track to overtake. There's only really turn 1 where you can make a really solid overtake. That and maybe the start of sector 3. Those are the two main places, but Bottas going all the way up to the pit wall. So DRS is enabled for this lap, and we go around the outside, nice and easy, around the Finns kick Sauber. And now we have the Alpine of Esteban Ocon just ahead of us here. We do get a lovely bit of traction coming out of the heavily banked hairpin. There we go, up the inside, a little bit on the dirt, banging wheels with Esteban Ocon, but he yields into the fast left-hander, just purely he knows. Fresh soft tyres, we're not his fight. And now Teo Porcher just up ahead. Think about sending it, but almost go around the outside instead. And now, can we do anything around this long left-hander? It just feels like it keeps going on for longer and longer. There's nothing really that we're going to do here. There's just not enough space for us to make an attempted overtake. And now we're practically pushing the Williams of Teo Porcher around these corners here. Look how close we're getting to the rear wing and the diffuser of the Frenchman. I think he's French. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong. We're just going to go down the outside. Nice and easy. Got better tyres, fresher tyres. I imagine a better car at this point. And then moving on to lap 20 now. We've got 5 laps left of this race. We're not really making the progress I was hoping for. And there's got to be someone at the top of this train who is causing a bit of a blockage. It looks like a Ferrari. Is that Carlos Sainz? The man we've been fighting with all day has been looking almost around the outside of Alex Albon. Just see the grip advantage as we now ride on board with the rear wing of Alex Albon's. We're going to go down the inside. He leaves the room just at the last second. It's a heck of a dive to make. But now we're just going to almost get a switch back on him. Can we do anything here? Can we force him to the inside? He does go defensive. We go to the outside. We brake late. Turn in. Do we get the car stopped? Just about. Does compromise the actual hairpin itself. But a very good move from us. And we go a little bit deep. For good measure. Just to show we are human. God. Oh, I don't know why people watch these. Anyway, as we move on, lap 22, we've got Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll, and then the final boss of Carlos Sainz up ahead. Remembering that Sainz is on the hard tyres. We're going to go down the inside, a little bit unorthodox, but we still make it work. Gasly almost didn't leave the room. He was so tempted against his old rival in the Budo Andretti F1 team car, and now practically pushing Stroll around the corners again. There's something, it must be the setup, it must be the high downforce we have and the fresher tyres mixed in together is cooking up something juicy. And yeah, lap 22, Stroll is being very patient and I don't like it. So we're going to go around the outside. As you do, just braking a bit later, letting them turn in for the corner and turning in a bit later works wonderfully. As we almost spin under brakes actually, the tyres are getting worn. We're potentially just trying to push the car a bit too hard now. We haven't really been checking the tyre wear because I don't care. We just have to get ahead, and we're actually in P10 right now. So here is the blockage I was talking about. If you want to use some drone unblocker, it's not going to work against Carlos Sainz. He's been doing a marvellous job here in the Ferrari on hard tyres. As we're going to go on to lap 24 now. We're going to go down the inside, very similar to a move we made earlier in the race. Hards versus soft. Obviously, the soft wins out. But Carlos Sainz did pit a few laps before us, and he's on hard tyres. I bet he maybe has like, maybe not even 10% wear on his tyres. He might have 10%, something around there. But we will have a lot more than that. And I made a little mistake in my overtake, as some of you probably have already thought about, based on the lap number we're on now, and what position I'm in. Because I can't break free of Carlos Sainz, as we almost spin the car again in the same place, and letting Carlos Sainz come back to our rear wing. But if the main overtaking spot is into turn 1, and there's DRS and battery, and I mean there's a Ferrari behind you, and you're thinking, what's the best lap to overtake? It's lap 24, because now we're on the final lap, and Sainz is ahead by a mile. He's on hard compound tyres. Our softs are slowly dying a death, and there's no real overtaking spots between here and the checkered flag. We've only got 25% battery. Well, it's quickly climbing actually to 30%. We just got to try and stay as close as we can to the back of Carlos Sainz. Give him a good sniff and see what we can do down the next DRS straight. There's not much more we can do here. We've got to really try and just get as close as we can here. You can just see his tyres are starting to be better than the softs as we're trying to be all over the back. But look at the traction he gets out of the hairpin there, the long hairpin. I just don't think there's anything we can do here. We're trying, again, we actually make contact with the back of the Ferrari, but there's just nothing we can do. There's no overtaking spots. We just can't. We don't have the grip, the traction. Can we get a run up to the line? We are gaining. We're running out of battery, but the line is too close.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And there we go. P10 on the grid to start and P10 on the grid to finish. A good race, some good pace, an unfortunate but kind of fortunate safety car.
Here's the checkered flag, and our winner has landed. It's Lando Norris for victory.
What a true show of character to fight through the grid the way they did, to not get beat down by starting so far down, and to come back and win it all. Just goes to show how strong this driver is.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving that they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
Indeed, they are. Lando Norris taking the top spot, and all my subscribers taking the top spot in my heart. If you want to join them, subscribe. Don't ask. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. McLaren again taking the fight to Red Bull, as you can see on the grid, followed by Charles Leclerc, whose teammate was a thorn in our side today. But overall, pretty good.
It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Me neither, Crofty. Me neither, mainly because I'm recording again tonight, the next race. Here are the results. We've got Lando Norris on the top step, followed by Verstappen, Leclerc, Alonso, Russell, Perez, Hamilton, Piastri, Sainz, ourselves in P10, followed by Stroll, Gasly, Albon, Pourchaire, Ocon, Bottas, Magnussen, Zhou Guanyu, Logan Sargent, Daniel Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg, Yuki Tsunoda, who DNF'd during the race. Now looking at the standings, obviously pretty close fight at the top. Verstappen versus Norris, followed semi-closely by Leclerc and Sainz, and ourselves in P10, who's, we've picked up an extra point on Lance Stroll, gaining a little bit of an advantage on him, and the same can be said for our constructors against Williams. Getting a little bit of a gap there, which is something I really enjoy seeing. Now, highlights are here just for you to have a little watch if you want to see any of the little bits of highlights again. Obviously see the start, which went pretty well. I'm very, very thankful that Sainz had the awareness of an aware thing in that first turn, otherwise we would not have a front wing. Now again, a pretty good race for us actually. I'm pretty happy with that. P10 to P10. Not the worst in the world, we could have done better. I think if we had not had that spin, I mean the safety car wouldn't have come out if we didn't have that spin, which is the only differentiator here. But if the safety car came out for Tsunoda and we didn't have the spin, then we could have really had a chance at some of the higher points paying positions, purely because those softs performed so well after the restart, just in terms of giving us the grip to just make overtakes as and when we wanted to, or as and when we had the opportunity to, really. When we got to Sainz, our softs were a bit too dead to really make a difference against his hard tyres, which is what it is. It was the strategy. I think Sainz made the right decision in the end. It didn't seem like it at first, but he just had the pace to fight off everyone behind him, and that's good strategy. But that's it for this week. I'm always really bad at remembering what the next race is, but we'll find out next week. So if you enjoyed, leave a like. If you're new around here, think about subscribing, and I'll join you all back with more F1 24 My Team next week.